Most people think dropshipping is dead, but I don't think dropshipping is dead. I think the way most people do dropshipping is dead. There is a big difference. Because if your plan is to find some random product from China, throw in a basic Shopify store, run some Facebook ads, and hope people buy, then yes, the game is getting harder every single day. Ads are more expensive, customers don't trust random stores like they used to. And with AI, everyone can build a store, write product pages, make videos, and copy what everyone else is doing. So the barrier to start is lower than ever. But making money with e-com is harder than ever. And that's why the people who still think e-commerce is about finding a winning product are going to struggle. Because the real money is not in dropshipping. The real money is in turning that product into a real brand. That's exactly what I did. I took a simple generic product, started with dropshipping to keep the risk low, tested the market, found what worked, and then turned it into a brand that has done over $10 million in sales. And in this video, I'm going to show you the simple process I use. Not theory, not guru stuff, just what actually worked for me. My name is George, I live in the UK, but before e-commerce, I was working in construction for a minimum wage. I didn't come from money or had any special skills. I was just a normal guy trying to figure out how to get out of the 9-to-5 trap. At one point, I was living in a share house with 14 other people I didn't know, just for rent. I was struggling financially, and I was tired of waking up every day knowing that no matter how hard I worked, I was still stuck. So I started looking at ways to make money online. Probably the same way you found this video. I watched YouTube videos, I tried different things, I made a lot of mistakes, and eventually I found e-commerce. But I want to be honest with you, it didn't work straight away. For the first couple of years, I learned the hard way. I wasted money, I tested the wrong products, I built bad websites, I listened to the so-called gurus on social media, and I made almost every mistake you can make. But slowly, I started to understand the game. I started to see what actually matters. And once I figured it out, everything changed. One of my Shopify brands alone has done now over $10 million in sales. And this didn't happen because I found some magic product. It happened because I stopped thinking like a dropshipper and I started thinking like a brand owner. Because dropshipping is just a fulfillment method. That's all. It's just a way to test a product without buying stock upfront. And that's why I still like using it in the beginning, because it keeps the risk low and you don't need to buy any inventory upfront. But the problem is most people stay stuck there and they wonder why they can't scale. You can use dropshipping to start, but you cannot think like a dropshipper forever. That's where people get trapped. So let me show you the process I use. The next step is product research. And this is where most people already lose, because they don't really understand what a good product is. They pick something because it looks cool or because some TikTok video went viral. But that's not enough. A winning product needs to have real demand, it needs to solve a real problem, and more importantly, it needs to be something people are willing to pay for. It's not like 2016 where people saw a random gadget on Facebook and bought it without thinking. Now, if your product doesn't feel useful, people scroll past it. I look at products that are evergreen, something people can buy all year round, something that is not just a trend for 2 weeks. This is another place where people get it wrong. They build a very cheap looking store, or they spend months trying to make everything perfect. Both are wrong. You don't want a store that looks like a scam, but you also don't need to spend 3 months building the most perfect brand before you even know if the product sells. You need something clean, professional, and trustworthy. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Most beginners focus on the wrong things, but they forget the real things that build trust. When someone lands on your page, they need to feel safe. They don't buy when they don't trust you. So the goal is simple: make the store look like a real brand from day one, even if you are still testing. It doesn't mean you need custom packaging from day one. It just means the customer needs to feel like they are buying from a proper business, not some random dropshipping store. But here's where most people miss the real game. They only focus on the first sell. They think if they spend $20 to get a customer and the customer buys something that's $50, that's the whole game. But that's beginner mentality. You don't just want to make a sale, you want to make the customer. The real game is customer lifetime value. Can you bring them back to buy from you again and again? This is where email marketing becomes very powerful. You already paid to acquire that customer, so you need to follow up. Welcome emails, abandoned checkout emails, post-purchase emails, product recommendation emails, win-back emails. This is how you can increase the lifetime value of each customer. And this is one of the reasons why I use OMNISEND for my e-commerce businesses, because it automates everything for me in the background on every customer. When email marketing is done properly, it can add 30 to 40% extra revenue to a business. And that's not a random number. In the past year, OMNISEND brought in over $245,000 from just one of my stores, nearly 38% of that store's entire revenue. One single flow, the welcome flow, made over $159,000 of that on its own. And here is the part most people sleep on. My abandonment flows alone quietly claim back over $33,000 from shoppers who viewed the product, added to cart, or started checkout, and then left without buying. That's revenue almost every store loses forever, recovered automatically. This is how you can increase the lifetime value of each customer. Think about that. If your store is doing $100K a month and emails adds another 30 to 40K, that changes everything, because paid ads make $3 to $5 for every dollar spent. OMNISEND brings back $79 for every dollar spent. You can click the link in my description to start the free trial for OMNISEND. If you upgrade to a paid plan, use code G30 to get 30% off. They even have a migration offer if you are still using another email platform. And when you make more from every customer, you can spend more to get that customer. That is a huge advantage, and this is where the branding starts. A lot of people think branding means fancy logo, expensive packaging, and a big team. It doesn't. Branding starts with trust. Everything needs to feel connected. That's branding in the beginning. Then after you validate the product, you can go deeper. You can add your logo to the product. You can create branding packaging. You can improve the design. You can work with influencers. You can turn that generic product into something that feels like yours. This is what I did. I didn't start with some massive brand. I started simple. I tested the product first. I proved the demand. Then I improved everything step by step. That's how you do it the right way. Because if you spend too much time building the brand before testing the market, you might waste months on something nobody wants. But if you only dropship forever and never build a brand, you will never build something long term. So the right way is in stages. Test first, validate, then brand, and once the system starts working, now you can scale. This is the part everyone wants. But you can't scale something that's broken. Scaling only works when the foundation is already working. So first, you need proof, you need sales, you need data, you need to be profitable, then you start scaling. And scaling is actually simple when you know what to look for. The goal for me is simple. If I spend $1 on ads, I want to get at least $3 back. Now, once you get to this stage, you also need to think about automation. Because if your business starts growing and you are doing everything yourself, you didn't build freedom. You just build yourself another job. And that's not why I started. I started because I wanted financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. I didn't want to be stuck in construction forever. But I also didn't want to build an online business that keeps me trapped behind a laptop 12 hours a day. That's not freedom. So once you know what works, you need to start removing yourself from the small tasks. You can hire freelancers to help you with this, but you need to give them clear instructions, you need systems, you need simple processes. You can also use AI to speed things up, but AI is not magic. It won't fix bad businesses. It gives leverage to people who know what they are doing. That's the difference. If you have no strategy, AI just helps you make bad decisions faster. But if you understand the game, AI helps you move faster, save time, and build with more leverage. That's why I'm excited about e-commerce now, because yes, it's harder, but it's also a massive opportunity for people who do it properly. The lazy dropshipping model is dying, but real e-commerce brands are not dying. People still buy products every day. The opportunity is still there. You just need to approach it the right way. And this is the part I want you to understand. You don't need to reinvent anything. The easiest way to win in business is to find someone who has already done what you want to do and model what worked for them. It doesn't have to be me, but don't try to figure everything out alone if you don't have to. Because trial and error sounds free in the beginning, but it becomes the most expensive part. I did that. I learned through the trial and error. And yes, it worked in the end, but it cost me years of hard work. It cost me a ton of money, and it cost me a lot of stress. And if I could go back, I would find someone who was already doing what I wanted to do and learn from them. That's why I now help people one-on-one. I help them find products, build a store, set up the ads, improve the offer, build the brand, set up the emails, and put the right systems in place. So if you want to build an e-commerce business the right way and you want help from someone who actually does this, there is a link where you can apply to work with me one-on-one. I only take a few people each month because I work directly with my clients. So if it's a fit, we can jump on a call, look up where you are now, and see if I can help. And if you are now ready for that, that's fine too. Watch the free training by clicking the link in my channel bio and start learning. This is George. See you in the next video.